Assalamu alaikum. Today it will be my last lecture regarding metabolic defects in the amino acid metabolism, and in fact it is the last lecture of protein metabolism also. So in today's lecture we will discuss the three clinical conditions: cystathionuria, alkaptonuria, and hyperprolinemia. Now, cystathionuria, as the name is showing, it is a clinical condition in which there is excessive excretion of cystathionin in the urine. So, it is called cystathionuria. Cystathionin, it is a metabolic disorder involving the amino acid methionine. Cystathionuria generally is a hereditary in nature. The normal metabolic pathway of methionine is its conversion in successive steps to homocysteine, cystathionin, and cysteine, each step being affected by a specific enzyme. You remember homocysteine, when it is not converted into cystathionin, the condition is homocystinuria. And when this cystathionin, it is not being converted into alpha ketobutyrate or into cysteine, because this cystathionin, this compound is bifurcated. It is divided into two compounds. One is cysteine and another one is alpha ketobutyrate, which is converted into a propionyl CoA. So here each step being affected by a specific enzyme. In cystathionuria, the enzyme cystathionin gamma lyase, or is also called cystathionase, which normally catalyzes the hydrolysis of cystathionin to cysteine, is defective. As a result, abnormally high concentrations of cystathionin appears in the urine, and the condition is called cystathionuria. Now, in cystathionuria, although the enzyme appears to be present in the tissues of affected person, it is inactive until an excess of vitamin B6 is available. Vitamin B6 is required for the activity of cystathionase enzyme. That enzyme is essential for the compound, this cystathionin, to get converted into alpha ketobutyrate and cysteine. So in some cases, the administration of vitamin B6 brings about a dramatic response, which results in a marked fall in the cystathionin excretion. Most affected individuals experience cystathionuria as a mild disorder, showing only the abnormal urinary excretion of cystathionin. But sometimes, however, the disorder is associated with intellectual disability, like it happens with homocystinuria. Now, alkaptonuria. Alkaptonuria is also known as a black urine disease or black bone disease. Alkaptonuria is related with the metabolic disorder related with abnormal metabolism of tyrosine. Tyrosine, as such, if we are taking in our diet or our body is getting tyrosine by the hydroxylation of phenylalanine, whatever the source of tyrosine is, metabolic defect in a step, I tell you later, that leads to excessive accumulation of alkaptone, and alkaptone, another name is for homogentisic acid. So excessive accumulation of homogentisic acid, because homogentisic acid is not being converted into mallyl acetoacetate by the enzyme deficiency. So what will happen? There will be excessive accumulation of homogentisic acid in the blood, and as this excessive accumulation, it leads to be excreted in the urine. So the condition will be called as homogentisic aciduria or alkaptonuria, because another name of alkapton is homogentisic acid. So when this homogentisic acid is oxidized, its color becomes dark color, or usually a black color. That is why it is known as a black urine disease or black bone disease. I tell you in detail. Deficiency in homogentisic acid oxidase, that enzyme which is required to convert that homogentisic acid into mallyl acetoacetate. Another name of this enzyme is homogentisitase 1,2-dioxygenase. Homogentisate 1,2-dioxygenase required in the degradative pathway of tyrosine. The illness has three characteristic symptoms: homogentisic aciduria, that is alkaptonuria, or large joint arthritis, or pigmentation of the cartilage and collagenous tissues. The characteristic presentation of this condition, alkaptonuria, is its precipitation in the large joints, where their color becomes black. That is why it is also called black bone disease. Now this track is clearly showing the metabolic pathway of tyrosine. You see, tyrosine, which we get from hydroxylation of phenylalanine, or tyrosine as such, when it is present in our diet, it is converted into hydroxyphenyl pyruvate, then homogentisic acid, mallyl acetoacetate, fumaryl acetoacetate, fumarate and acetoacetate, and fumarate ultimately either it enters into the TCA cycle, or it is going to synthesize glucose. That is why this property is a glucogenic for the tyrosine. And similarly acetoacetate, it is the ketogenic property, because acetate can be converted into acetyl-CoA, so for the synthesis of fats. So the whole track of this tyrosine degradative pathway, the problem is here when homogentisic acid is not being converted into mallyl acetoacetate due to the deficiency or inactivity of this enzyme, which is homogentisic acid oxidase enzyme. So what will happen? There will be excessive accumulation of homogentisic acid, and because this is excreted in urine, so the condition will be a homogentisic aciduria or alkaptonuria, because homogentisic acid and alkaptone are the same thing. So only wanted to tell you that the problem in alkaptonuria, the clinical condition, is here in the metabolic tract of tyrosine, when the homogentisic acid oxidase enzyme is inactive. Now here in Lippincott, at the end of the chapter, you can see this is the different metabolic pathways of phenylalanine or tyrosine, different tracks. There are so many diseases related with these metabolic pathways of tyrosine or phenylalanine. You see here phenylketonuria, we discussed in detail, when tyrosine not going to be converted into pigment, albinism. Similarly, alkaptonuria we are studying right now. Here you can see the problem is here when homogentic acid is not being converted into mallyl acetoacetate. Similarly, in this track, we also studied another disease, clinical condition, tyrosinemias. So different types of tyrosinemias are also related with the metabolic pathway, abnormal metabolic pathways of tyrosine. This is very important slide. Similarly, you can see here maple syrup urine disease when there is a abnormal degradation of branch chain amino acids, leucine, isoleucine, and valine, and when dehydrogenase enzyme is deficient. So this maple syrup urine disease. Now coming back to alkaptonuria, you can see here a urine from a patient with alkaptonuria because excessive homogentic acid in the blood is going to be excreted in urine. So you can see here right after 15 minutes when the surface homogentic acid which is present in urine is going to be oxidized, you can see a very clear black color urine. So initially within the 15 minutes we get this type of result. Right after this, after 2 hours, you can see the whole homogentic acid which is present in the urine is completely oxidized and it becomes black color. So this simple test, a sign of black colored urine becomes black on staining. It's a characteristic feature of alkaptonuria. You can see in this slide also vertebra from a patient with alkaptonuria. You see a dense black pigment. Yeah, this one deposited on the intervertebral discs of the vertebra. So after they are oxidized, they become black color. So typical findings of alkaptonuria both in the urine and in the bones is almost a diagnosis of alkaptonuria. Another finding, pigmentation may be noted in the sclera. You can see here. You can see in the sclera of the eye and the cartilage of the ear here. You can see this is the pigments of alkaptone, homogentic acid, cartilage of the ear as well as other cartilage. So these are all the symptoms and signs of this alkaptonuria. Treatment. Usually alkaptonuria is asymptomatic until about the age of 40. Then what we do is we plan the diets low in protein, especially in phenylalanine and tyrosine. This type of the diet helps reduce the levels of homogentic acid and decrease the amount of pigment deposited in the body tissues. Although alkaptonuria is not life-threatening, the associated arthritis may be severely crippling. This is important point to remember. Now hyperprolinemia. It is the last clinical condition related with the abnormal metabolism of proline. Proline, as you know, this is one of the member of glutamate family because in its degradation or its metabolic pathway, it is going to converge to produce glutamate. So in this condition, hyperprolemia, it is also referred to as prolinemia or prolinuria because excessive accumulation of proline in the blood leads to excessive excretion in the urine. So the condition we call prolinuria. So all the names are for this entity, hyperprolinemia. It is a condition which occurs when the amino acid proline is not broken down properly by the enzyme proline oxidase. The very first enzyme which acts on proline to get proline converted into pyrroline carboxylate. So when this enzyme activity is not there, there will be excessive accumulation of proline, causing a buildup of proline in the body. Patients with lactic acidemia are likely to have elevated proline levels because lactic acid inhibits the breakdown of proline. So excessive accumulation of this lactic acid, it suppresses the activity of this enzyme proline oxidase. With the result, there is excessive accumulation of proline in the blood, leading to this prolinuria. Now this slide shows the member of glutamate family: histidine, proline, and arginine. Plus we also have glutamine, another fourth member. They all get converted into glutamate. So if you focus on the metabolism of proline, the very first step is its conversion into pyrroline 5-carboxylate, and the enzyme is proline oxidase. It is this enzyme which is being suppressed by excessive lactic acid in the body. So lactic acid suppresses the activity of this enzyme so that proline will not be get converted into pyrroline 5-phosphate. We are concerned with the when this enzyme is deficient or inactive genetically. So it will lead to no conversion into pyrroline 5-carboxylate with excessive accumulation of proline. There is another enzyme which is required for the conversion of this pyrroline carboxylate into ultimately glutamate family through glutamate semialdehyde. If this enzyme is also deficient, that is called hyperprolinemia type 2. We discussed later. Now hyperprolinemia type 1, which is due to the inactivity of the very first enzyme, proline oxidase. It is difficult to determine the prevalence of hyperprolinemia type 1, as many people with the condition are asymptomatic. They don't have any symptoms related with this metabolic disorder. People with the hyperprolinemia type 1 have proline levels in their blood between 3 to 10 times the normal level. This is the type 1 hyperprolinemia. Then you see hyperprolinemia type 2. Type 2 results in proline levels in the blood between 10 to 15 times higher than the normal, and a high levels of related compound are called pyrroline 5-carboxylate, because that is not going to be converted into glutamate. Due to the deficiency of this enzyme dehydrogenase, pyrroline carboxylate dehydrogenase enzyme is deficient, so pyrroline carboxylate is not yet converted into glutamate. So definitely, logically, there will be excessive accumulation of this compound, pyrroline 5-carboxylate. This enzyme dehydrogenase helps to break down the pyrroline 5-carboxylate produced in the previous reaction, converging it to the amino acid glutamate. This rare form of disorder may appear benign at times, but often involves seizures, convulsions, and intellectual disability. Thank you. As this was my last lecture, we have completed protein metabolism from every aspect regarding metabolism of protein, metabolism of individual amino acids, fate of amino acid skeleton, how non-essential amino acids are synthesized from essential amino acids, and in the end, we discussed in detail the diseases related with the metabolic disorders of individual amino acids. Inshallah, we will be having regular academic interactions in future. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay blessed.